Have you ever felt like you were at your breaking point, as if life was testing you in every possible way? Like each problem was another blow, and you were struggling to stay on your feet? If so, know that you're not alone. The truth is, resilience isn't built in easy times, it's forged in the storms. What if I told you that the greatest lessons in overcoming challenges come from hardships themselves? It might sound counterintuitive, but that's exactly what separates those who rise from those who give up. The question is, are you willing to learn? Because today, I'm going to show you 7 lessons that can transform your faith, your strength, and your perspective on life's challenges. Many people face adversity with fear, doubt, and despair, not realizing they're on the verge of discovering a strength they never knew they had. And what we're going to talk about here might be exactly what you need to start seeing your challenges differently. With the right lessons, anyone can build an unshakable faith, strong enough to withstand life's toughest moments. So, go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications, because this message will take your understanding of resilience to a whole new level. And to show your commitment to this transformation, comment below, "My faith is unshakable." Now, let's dive into the first powerful lesson. Resilience isn't something you learn on sunny days. It's built in the heart of the storm, when everything seems to be falling apart, and the only option is to keep moving forward. Jesus never promised a life without challenges, but he assured us that with faith we can endure them. It's easy to trust when everything is going well, but the real test comes when the ground disappears from beneath your feet. Just like an athlete strengthens their muscles through the pain of training, personal growth comes through adversity. Every fall is an opportunity to rise stronger, wiser, and better prepared. Faith acts as an invisible shield in these moments. How many times have people asked themselves why they have to go through certain battles? But what if, instead of seeing suffering as punishment, they started seeing it as a relentless teacher? Joseph, sold into slavery by his own brothers, spent years in prison before becoming governor of Egypt. He didn't just survive injustice. He grew spiritually, remained humble, and found purpose in his pain. The storm may seem harsh, but it is in that very storm that God shapes his warriors. For those facing difficulties right now, the question shouldn't be, "Why is this happening to me?" but rather, "What is God trying to teach me?" Maybe it's patience, forgiveness, courage, or even the importance of family. Overcoming hardships doesn't happen in an instant. It happens with every decision to keep going. And interestingly enough, it's in the middle of the storm that true love is revealed. God's love, self-love, and the love of those who stand by our side. But there's something even more powerful than simply enduring the storm, understanding that love has the power to transform it. True love isn't just a fleeting feeling, it's a force that shapes destinies. Jesus saw love as a divine power, capable of transforming even the hardest of hearts. How many stories have been rewritten because of love? A rebellious son who finds his way home, a marriage restored through forgiveness, a stranger offering help without expecting anything in return. This kind of love isn't about fancy words, it's about action. It's a daily commitment to choosing empathy when it would be easier to judge, to reaching out when everything tells you to turn away. The world teaches us to love with conditions, but real love is unconditional. It doesn't give up at the first obstacle or retreat in the face of someone else's mistakes. Jesus himself demonstrated this when he washed the feet of his disciples, including Judas, who would soon betray him. If even he chose to serve and forgive, who are we to withhold love from others? This kind of love requires humility, patience, and a heart willing to grow. It's not always easy, but it transforms both the giver and the receiver. And when love becomes the guiding force, life's battles take on a new meaning. Forgiving an offense, supporting a friend in difficult times, or simply expressing gratitude, these aren't just small acts. They bring more than just inner peace, they bring purpose. Those who truly love learn to see beyond appearances and to value what really matters. And when love is strong enough, it makes room for something just as powerful: self-reflection. After all, are we truly loving the way we should? Questioning doesn't mean a lack of faith, it's actually a path to strengthening it. Many people feel guilty for having doubts, as if that makes them less spiritual. But even some of the greatest figures in the Bible questioned God in their moments of suffering. Job asked why he was suffering, David cried out for answers in his Psalms, and even Jesus on the cross asked, "My God, why have you forsaken me?" Doubt doesn't destroy faith, it can deepen it. Those who seek answers with sincerity don't just find understanding, they experience personal growth. Questioning is like a map that guides the spiritual journey. When someone asks, "Why am I going through this?" they are actually opening the door to new perspectives. Is there something to learn from this suffering? Could this closed door be pointing to a better path? Blind faith may keep someone moving forward, but faith that questions builds an unshakable foundation. The key is to search for answers in the right places, in God's Word, in prayer, in deep reflection, and even in conversations with wise people. The issue isn't asking questions, it's what we do with the answers. Some use difficulties as an excuse to give up, while others turn them into stepping stones toward growth. Every doubt faced and resolved strengthens faith. In the end, questioning is an invitation to go deeper, to refuse to settle for a shallow faith. And there's one thing questioning always reveals. No matter how painful it is, suffering is never meaningless. It always has a greater purpose. Suffering may feel like an unbearable burden, but it's also one of life's greatest teachers. No one wants to go through pain or loss, but it's in those moments that true growth happens. Think of a diamond. It only forms under intense pressure. The same is true for faith and resilience. When everything seems to be falling apart, the soul is forced to grow stronger. Jesus wasn't spared from suffering, but he used every trial to fulfill his purpose. In the same way, every hardship can become a stepping stone to something greater. The biggest mistake is seeing suffering only as punishment, without recognizing how it shapes character. Some of the wisest and most compassionate people aren't those who had an easy life, but those who faced storms and survived. They learned the value of patience, forgiveness, and hope because they experienced loss firsthand. When a challenge appears, there are always two choices: to resent it or to learn from it. Those who choose to learn turn pain into growth and find a higher purpose in the midst of the storm. And when pain teaches, life is never the same again. Someone who has experienced deep loss learns to cherish the small moments. Those who have faced betrayal understand the importance of forgiveness. Those who have felt loneliness discover the value of family. Pain, when properly understood, doesn't destroy, it strengthens. But for that to happen, we must learn to let go of the weight of the past. And nothing helps with that more than forgiveness. Forgiving doesn't mean forgetting or pretending nothing happened. It means freeing your own soul from the weight of resentment. Many people remain stuck in the past because they carry pain they should have already let go of. Forgiveness doesn't mean excusing someone's wrongdoing. It means deciding that the pain they caused will no longer have power over your life. Jesus, even while suffering injustice, chose to forgive. If he, who was without sin, offered forgiveness even to those who crucified him, why do we, with all our flaws, hold on to offenses that only harm us? Forgiveness isn't a favor we do for someone else. It's a gift we give ourselves. Holding on to resentment is like gripping a burning coal, expecting it to hurt the other person, when in reality it only burns the one holding it. Those who forgive experience lightness, peace, and even emotional healing. It's a process that requires humility and love, but it has the power to transform lives. Want to take the first step? Start by praying for the person who hurt you. You don't have to feel like it. Just make the decision. Over time, your heart will follow your actions, and the pain will begin to lose its grip. And when forgiveness becomes a habit, it changes not just the one who forgives, but the entire environment around them. Broken relationships can be restored, divided families can find peace, and even those who refuse to acknowledge their mistakes can be impacted by this act of love. Forgiveness creates space for new opportunities, new stories, and deep spiritual growth. And in the end, where do we learn the most about love and forgiveness, if not within our own families? Family is the first training ground for love, patience, and humility. It's at home that we learn to forgive, embrace differences, and put others before ourselves. It's not always easy. Conflicts arise, personalities clash, and pride tries to take over. But it's in this very space that spiritual growth is strengthened. Jesus valued family, and his own story teaches us that family bonds are more than just biological connections. They are opportunities to learn the true meaning of love and resilience. Who hasn't felt like their family is testing their patience? A harsh word, an unmet expectation, an old wound that still hurts. These moments hold some of life's greatest lessons. Learning to listen without judging, to speak without hurting, and to compromise without losing yourself are invaluable spiritual skills. Those who master these at home are prepared to carry love and understanding into every other relationship in life. Faith isn't strengthened only in church, it grows in everyday actions, in small acts of care, respect, and service to others. And when you start seeing family through this new lens, everything changes. Every argument becomes an opportunity for growth. Every challenge tests your patience, and every act of kindness strengthens your spirituality. Homes can be restored when there is humility to ask for forgiveness and courage to start fresh. And no matter how imperfect a family may be, it is a gift from God, designed to shape our character. But when challenges feel overwhelming, faith becomes the anchor that keeps the family from drifting away. Life is full of storms, and there's no way to avoid them. But those who have faith don't sink because they know there's a firm anchor holding everything in place. Faith doesn't mean a life without problems. It means knowing that God is in control, even when everything seems to be falling apart. How many times have we felt exhausted, ready to give up? It's in those moments that faith reminds us that fear, pain, and doubt never have the final word. Jesus does. He never promised a life without challenges, but he did promise we would never be alone. Holding on to faith in difficult times isn't always easy, but it's life-changing. When everything is going well, trusting God is simple. The real test comes when the answers take time, when resources run out, when logic says there's no way forward. But that's exactly when faith reveals its strength. People who trust in God, even when they can't see a solution, discover a resilience they never thought they had. Have you ever noticed how some people face loss and hardship with an unshakable peace? It's not luck, it's faith. And faith isn't just a passive feeling, it requires action. Prayer is essential, but so is getting up and moving forward. It means acting as if the answer is already on its way, even when there's no visible proof. Faith renews, strengthens, and guides. It teaches us that tomorrow belongs to God, but right now is our chance to trust. And when faith becomes a way of life, every obstacle turns into an opportunity for growth. And growth leads to transformation. Now tell me, what will you do with everything you've learned here? Will you let these lessons pass by like just another piece of content? Or will you apply them to strengthen your faith and resilience? Because the truth is, knowledge only has power when it's put into practice, and life won't wait for you to be ready. Challenges will keep coming. The question is, will you be prepared? If you truly want transformation, start now. Choose one of these lessons and put it into practice in your daily life. It could be working on forgiveness, strengthening your faith during difficult times, or even changing how you view suffering. Small actions create big changes. And if you want to keep learning and growing, watch the next video that's popping up on your screen. It will help you take the next step in your spiritual journey. So go ahead and subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and leave a comment. Which of these lessons touched your heart the most? Let's talk about it, because together, as a family of faith, we can grow, learn, and become even more resilient. See you in the next video.